Everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Awesome Sunday Show. Your normal hosts, Pat and Connor, as usual.
Yeah, we're kicking it off today,
Yeah, kicking it off early today. Not really that
We've had
early,
a long weekend.
Yeah, it's just been long and tiresome.
Friday night, I went to bed at 6 a.m. Last night, I went to bed at 4 a.m.
Nice.
That's the type of weekend I've had. And you know what it is funny is I closed work both nights, still went out, so the whole "I'm tired" excuse, stop.
What a baller.
Yeah, you gotta. You're anywhere from 20 to 30. You have no excuse.
Listen, if Connor can do it, you can do it.
Yeah,
is what he's saying.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, I barely drank both nights. Just just going out, having a good time. You don't have to get inebriated.
Exactly.
You
don't need to drink or do drugs to have fun.
Exactly. Dare program.
Yeah.
Oh God. So Pat, you had a really good topic today.
I did, but what else is new? But no, it is a good topic. It's something that's kind of weird, but interesting concept, and I know it's something that you would like as well.
Yeah.
In particular,
I was really excited actually when we brought this up because I'm a huge fan of this series actually.
So pretty much now every day, everyone wants to have a cinematic universe. It's the new thing ever since Marvel kicked it off. Such as Hasbro wants to make a cinematic universe based on their toy properties.
Yeah.
Including Transformers. And then apparently they're thinking of doing one for the Fast and Furious series. But the one we're talking about today is Universal is creating a monster movie universe. And by that, I mean like Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, Wolfman, things of that nature.
Creature of Black Lagoon,
Black Lagoon, The Mummy, stuff like that, which sounds kind of weird, but...
Well, here's the thing. The Universal monster movies was, if by all intents and purposes, the first cinematic universe ever. And it started in the 1920s with The Hunchback of Notre Dame, following Quasimodo, and it ended in the 50s. I can't remember the last movie off the top of my head. I think it was The Creature from the Black Lagoon that was like the last dedicated. Yeah, that's right. The Creature from the Black Lagoon was the last Universal monster movie, not really counting like the Abbott and Costello movies, even though they do kind of fit in. Mm-hmm. They are technically part of the universe, but that was before studios even really called it anything.
Yeah.
It was just a way to make money. Like, let's put them in the same movie. But that was really the first. It's funny, like when technically a silent movie started the first cinematic universe ever.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So the plan for this is, of course, to introduce a bunch of different monsters, and then several years down the road, have an Avengers-style team-up.
Yeah.
But what would they team up against?
That's the thing. You're having a bunch of antagonists, or like essentially team up for something that's a greater evil. It's very League of Extraordinary Gentlemen-ish.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. That's just not the Universal monsters, like, to me at all. The Monster Squad already kind of did that. Mm-hmm. And there's no reason. And Van Helsing tried to do it too, but Van Helsing failed at it pretty miserably. And Monster Squad was more of a coming-of-age comedy, so like it kind of worked why they were together, even though it didn't really make a lot of sense. That movie's just awesome anyway, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Like, there's really like no reason why Dracula and Wolfman would team up. Like, when you see it in a movie, it's not that well done.
Right.
Like, again, like in Monster Squad, he was under his control, so like they had a decent reason, but like they both have different purposes. They both have different types of personality as well. The Wolfman, when he's not transformed, is a tragic figure who can't kill himself. so he has to live with this curse.
Yeah.
Whereas Dracula is more maniacal and diabolical, but at the same time is looking for someone to love or looking for a companionship too. So like you have two total opposites: someone who's not looking to be attached to anybody and be alone, kind of like the Hulk, and someone who is evil by all intents and purposes and like, but also like wants like someone around. It wouldn't flow together as a partnership. It just doesn't at all. Like with the Avengers, like everybody has a personality trait of heroic duty that brings them together. When like I don't agree. I don't want like a Avengers team up. I'd rather see them all fight each other. If there was a movie where they all fought each other, then I would be on board with it.
Right. Yeah, but the plan is for an Avengers style team up. What would they even team up against? What kind of evil threat?
That's the thing that's very confusing.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can think of. Dracula is really the only one that like is powerful enough to where like the monsters can team up and fight against him. But then that wouldn't make sense from a business standpoint because you would want Dracula to be the main character to go throughout all the movies.
Yeah.
And like, what are they gonna do? Make up a character?
I don't know. Maybe. So the way the universe is planned right now, it's gonna kick off with the Mummy reboot that Tom Cruise will be starring in, that I believe comes out next year. Then there's plans for new Dracula, Wolfman, which rumored to be The Rock, Invisible Man, which apparently Johnny Depp signed on for. And there's rumors that Angelina Jolie might join the universe as Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, I like that. I like the casting choices so far. You know, actors are hungry to be a part for multi-part movie deals because now because like it's kind of proven, especially with like someone like Ryan Reynolds and like again some other actors that like if you sign on for a movie universe and it bombs and then it actually doesn't really hurt your career as bad,
right,
as it used to. There's actors in the past that had their careers ruined because of a certain movie. And now it's actually really not that big of a deal because there's just so many different forms of medium that a person can go to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
unless you're Brendan Fraser.
Exactly. Yeah, unless you're Brendan Fraser. So like it's actually it's not that much of a risk anymore. Like when Chris Evans signed on for Captain America, he was reluctant to do it because he was scared of like another Fantastic Four thing
with a 9-picture deal.
Yeah, so he was like he wasn't really thrilled about it, but it might ended up being the best decision of his career.
Oh, definitely.
So like now, like actors and actresses are seeing that and being like, oh, like the reward is much greater than the risk. So you see people like Angelina Jolie, Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise signing on for these types of movie deals because that's literally millions of dollars of work for the same character to play.
Yeah.
So, and it's like there's really no stigma against that anymore as far as being typecasted because it's income.
Yeah. Yeah, especially for, multi-picture deals like that, you're making a lot of money and you're pretty much guaranteed work as long as everything.
Yeah.
As long as the movie makes money, you'll get more work.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how well critically received or not it is. If it makes enough money, you got another movie coming.
Yep. And
which may not be a good thing and for the fans, just keep pumping out garbage. But that's the standpoint.
Yeah.
But then again, not every critically killed movie is actually that bad, and not every one has the same response from the fans.
Absolutely. Like Transformers 1 did not do well critically, but I love that movie.
It's the only good one.
It is the only one. Everyone after that is bad. But
especially fucking Age of Extinction.
Horrible. I still haven't seen it.
Horrible.
Another point I guess I just want to make going back to like why the team up might not really work. The only thing I can think of is if a team up would work against the villain is if Dracula was the villain, but like his son Alucard was like the hero, like the guy that brought everybody together.
That role is going to be filled by Tom Cruise's character.
Alucard?
Well, to bring them together, that's going to be Tom Cruise's
job. Okay. So like Tom Cruise isn't playing the Mummy.
No, he's in the Mummy. I don't know as who, but yeah, no, he's not going to be the Mummy. I'm pretty sure.
I would love to see an actor like play a role like that, like a big actor play a mummy. Like
Yeah.
that'd be fun. I feel like that'd be cool. Yeah, Tom Cruise has played characters where you didn't really recognize him before. He did it in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, in Tropic Thunder, that was awesome.
That was a great role. Because it wasn't like Tom Cruise. Like when people tell me Tom Cruise is the same person in every movie, I try to tell them like, listen, watch Eyes Wide Shut. Even though I'm not a fan of that movie because he's not really Tom Cruise. He actually does a really good job. And
Yeah.
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, especially Tropic Thunder. That was a complete departure from how he normally is.
Mm-hmm. I want to be excited for this because I as you know, I've seen every Universal monster movie. Like when I get on a kick of something I really like it, and I've seen all the silent ones. I've seen all the talkies.
The talkies.
Yeah, well, I mean that's
I know it's just a funny way to put it.
And it's funny too because the weakest one really. One of the weakest ones really is the Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is which was the first one. That was the one from the 20s.
Yeah.
And then it's really not that good of a movie actually. Like it's classic because like of what it stands for, but what Hoffman says too is just because something's classic doesn't mean it's good.
Right.
And that's really the Hunchback of Notre Dame. But then Lon Chaney Sr. in Phantom of the Opera really was the real kickoff. Like that was like. You know, again, they didn't think of a movie universe at the time, but like when in hindsight, like as things progress, because that movie was much better. That movie was much more critically received, and that was the first time I think people really saw like horror in a silent film that actually was like pretty well done. There was Nosferatu.
Right.
That movie's great, but it's not perfect. You gotta understand with a lot of silent movies, it was still such a new medium that like. It's cool to watch, but then there's certain things that just don't add up or make sense. Like, have you ever seen Birth of a Nation?
No, I don't think so.
It's a silent movie. Like, it's a pro KKK silent movie.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much like saying like if black people are allowed freedom, they're going to take over America, and then white people are going to be the slaves. Obviously, that movie is extremely dated for the reasons behind what I just said.
Yeah.
It was used as a KKK recruitment movie, but in that movie, when a woman falls off a cliff, it's clearly a dummy.
Right.
And like even movies in the 30s and 40s when someone fall off a cliff, the effects got a lot better. So like they were still like, you know, getting their just the movie industry in general was still getting their groove to a certain point and like sharpening their tools as far as like editing, acting and all that. So really it was like the Phantom of the Opera, the silent movie version is probably one of the best silent movies ever made. Mm-hmm. Like just in general, and then that's what really made Universal like. All right, then like Dracula started coming out, Frankenstein, the Wolfman's the 40s, but like that's when like you really started seeing like great quality movies. Not that there isn't problems with them. Fun fact though, the Spanish like the American version of Dracula with Bela Lugosi, they actually filmed the Spanish version side by side with that. The Spanish version is actually better than the American version. The cinematography is extremely good, and the acting is even better too.
Right.
I have the Spanish version on DVD. It's like it's awesome. It's so good. Yeah, like I love like as you can tell, I can go on for this like for hours. But whenever they would meet in that when it was like Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, you know, which Frankenstein was played by Bela Lugosi at that time. And like Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein and like all those like team ups and stuff. That wasn't like there was no team up between the monsters. Mm-hmm. It was the human characters. And like I guess if they do that, that's fine. Whereas like it's a team of regular people having to fight off these monsters, kind of like the Monster Squad. It would actually work that way, I think. But yeah, it wasn't like it was a much bigger deal back then because you never really saw that at all. And I'm just scared that they're going to try to copy Marvel too much like DC did. Yeah. And it's just going to bite them in the ass. You know, I don't want this to be like typical, oh, like they did it, we did it, but we didn't do it as good. Right. Type of thing. You know, like I don't want it to be like GoBots to the Transformers or like Bratz to the Barbie or I can't even like. There's so many different examples as far as like that's the shitty version of like Mega Bloks to Lego. Like I don't want the Universal Cinematic Universe of monsters to reflect that. And like I'm scared that's how it can go. Because it kind of already did with a few movies.
Yeah, and this has a greater chance, I think, than a comic book cinematic universe to turn into a massive joke.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
I'd rather see them do this in comic form first than movie form. Because did you ever see the Wolfman 2014 remake with Benicio del Toro? Or I don't know if it was 2014. It might have been 13 or 12. And Anthony Hopkins. It's awful. It's like literally probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Jeez.
And like it's really bad. And then I didn't see Dracula Untold, but I heard that was awful too.
That's what I heard. I heard it bombed both.
It was like in and out
and critically.
It's like 20-something% of Rotten Tomatoes, and now it's supposed to kick off that universe. And so they've already tried it twice.
It was the Green Lantern of this cinematic universe.
Yeah, that's true. So like they already tried twice, and it failed.
Yeah.
So like I'm like maybe like they're trying like third time's the charm. Hopefully like all right, we did this and this wrong. Maybe we got to do this. I don't know. It's just I don't want it to be laughable because like I respect these characters. I respect these monsters. Like this is kind of what introduced me into movies. To be completely honest, is like the Universal monster movies. I have most of them on DVD, most of them, not all of them. And like, I just want it to be respected. I don't want it to be laughed at, because Marvel wasn't respected until the cinematic universe came out. Like, business wise, they filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah,
it wasn't until Disney bought them out so they got their respect back.
Yeah, after they sold off a lot of properties too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why like you don't see. That's why it took forever for Spider-Man to get into this, MCU.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I guess from like an outsider perspective, like, because I diligently know like the monster universe from Universal. I don't want to call it MCU, like Monsters Cinematic. I'm trying not to do that. Like, how do you think this could turn out just from a normal viewer perspective, not like someone who's like literally like knows everything about it?
I don't know. It's tough but they're signing on big names, which will help. But I don't think a lot of people are going to be like ready to adapt that idea. I don't think they're really going to jump on board right away with it.
Right.
Because it sounds goofy. It just sounds goofy, and it's like, those type of monster movies have not done well.
Not recently. It's been like 60 years.
Yeah. And then like even other monster-based movies, very few are actually any good.
And ones like The Mummy with Brendan Fraser and The Mummy Returns, which were successful movies, don't hold up as well today.
Definitely not.
I remember like
the CGI on when The Rock was the Scorpion King
is awful.
Awful. Like atrocious.
I remember when I was a kid, I loved those movies. And then
that doesn't surprise me.
And like, yeah, well, okay. And they're not bad, but like then I remember seeing Tomb of the Dragon Emperor in theaters. I was like, this movie sucks. And I was like, why do I like the other ones? And I remember like watching The Mummy and The Mummy Returns about a few years ago. And I was like, you know what? Like the first one's not bad. Right. I could still watch it, but it's nowhere near as fun as I thought when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is kind of like, this movie's actually not that good. The Mummy Returns.
Yeah, definitely not.
Like there's a scene in The Mummy Returns where they're actually outrunning the sunrise.
Uh-huh.
You can't physically do that at all.
Oh my God.
Like they're actually like, it's funny. They're running and like, because like there's spoiler for a movie that's over 10 years old. The kid can't hit sunlight for some reason, for like some curse or whatever. So when Brandon Fraser's running, you actually see the sunrise like slowly creep up on them. Yeah. And then like they're trying to stay in the shadow but there's nothing covering above them. It's the most illogical thing I've probably ever seen in a movie. And like as a kid I liked it, but like now it's like this is really dumb. And again, like it's just reiterating that like for years it's just been hasn't been taken seriously, but there's a glimmer of hope because comic books were not taken seriously. Comic book movies were not taken seriously.
Yeah, definitely not.
Even 10 years ago, it was like, oh, like there's a few good ones, out of the bunch. Now it's like, no, it has to be good, you know, which I'm glad.
There's a high standard.
There's a very high standard. It has to be good. And that hasn't really been the case. That hasn't really been the case ever with the monster movies, because a lot of there's ones back then that aren't even that good at all.
Right.
The sequels to The Creature, The Black Lagoon, like the Revenge of the Creature, it's awful. Dracula's Daughter, awful. And there's a couple other ones. The ones that are consistently good are the Frankenstein ones.
Right.
Like Bride of Frankenstein is better than Frankenstein, and Son of Frankenstein is my favorite one to watch because of I think the Frankenstein character in that one is the best one out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's some trash in that series already. I don't know. I don't want this to be disrespected. It's hard to be a fan of something that's like not respected enough. It's like as you know, and some of the other fans know, I'm a super huge Godzilla fan. It really wasn't until the new movie came out to where people were like, "Oh, Godzilla is badass."
Yeah.
It took a while for that to come around, and like finally, like it pays off to be a fan and like be like, "Hey, like I really like." Not that I wasn't ashamed of it before, but it's like now I can say it and not have like a negative connotation towards the series.
And always wear your Godzilla shirt.
And I always wear my Godzilla shirt. So like, you know, you can wear it with pride and not wear it and be like, oh wow, I wonder if someone's gonna say something dumb to me. You know, like I want that to be with the not. I keep just wanting to say MCU for like Monster Cinematic Universe, for the Universal Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so I don't know. That's so far my input, but like, I wonder what I would like to know what monsters they would cut out, because there's not going to be every monster they're going to put in there.
Yeah, of course not.
Just like with the Avengers, it's not going to put every superhero in. I mean, if we had to think of a team or like a movie that would have them all in, I would definitely think Wolfman, Frankenstein, and Dracula would be in there, obviously.
Uh-huh.
But like as far as like secondary characters, like I don't think the Hunchback of Notre Dame would be in there. He's not even really considered to be part of the universe. He kind of just started that off a little bit, and then it was like, oh, like we can do something with this. I don't think the Phantom would be in there because he's not really a monster. He's more of just a tragic figure.
Mm-hmm.
The Mummy is obviously going to be in it because of the picture deal that was just announced. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of I guess the Creature. I guess they could all be in there. But then also too, the problem with that is that with the Marvel Cinematic Universes, there's room to grow with other characters. With this monster universe, there's not really a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, they're
like,
much more limited.
Yeah, you're stuck at maybe 6.
Uh-huh.
And like you're gonna have that for like what? Like you want to make like 15 movies, let's say, and you're gonna be stuck with 6 characters for that. That doesn't really help at all.
No, I don't think that bodes well.
No. And like unless you want to start pulling stuff from other novels and like start adapting them and start like, hey, we're gonna bring I would love for them to bring new monsters in.
Mm-hmm.
Just I'm trying to think of like old classic monsters, maybe like some H.G. Wells type of thing, or even if they were wanting to create some new ones. I don't see why you couldn't do that, but at the same time, like you have to give respect to the older characters, and then there's just so much that can go wrong. And I don't want to be negative, but like it hasn't been good already in the past.
It's really, really risky for them to do it. You know, it could pay off well, but I think that, you know, public perception would probably work very bad against them.
Yeah, that's just going to be from automatic. Like, if I were like the head honcho behind this, I was like, all right, if this is going to be a thing, like this is what we need to do. Like, we need to get monsters or villains from other companies, strike deals, and then have them come on. Because like, all right, like the first team up movie, Wolfman, Invisible Man, Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's like, oh, hey, we just struck a deal with so and so. We're gonna bring Hellraiser on for the series, or like we just struck a deal and Jason's gonna be in here now, even though he's technically like, or Freddy Krueger, even though he's technically New Line Cinema. Like, we struck a deal with them. You know, like we're gonna bring him on, like half profit. This like with and it's already been proven. Sony did it with Spider-Man and Disney. So like that can happen. If they start doing stuff like that, it'd be like, oh wow, like even if the movies don't turn out as good, like I would appreciate the amount of effort that's been put in.
Right.
And like I'm afraid that it's just like, oh, we already have them. Like let's just make a movie. And it's like, no, like you really have to please the people that love this because it's dying. No one really like, even like horror movie fans like look back at the Universal monsters like, oh, it's cool, like it's really it. There's nothing else to it,
right?
Because and you know, horror movies did get better over time. They got a lot worse too, but I don't know. That's I can go into history. I can go into so much of this, and like also too, you got to pick the right actors for playing the part. I didn't see Dracula Untold, but the actor that's in the Fast and Furious movies that played Dracula.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, some British guy. Like, and he's a fine actor, but it's just like I feel like they just got some British guy because he's British. You know.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to like Dracula can't be like a pretty boy. And that's the other thing too. With all the recent Dracula movies that have come around and like that when Dracula's been in theaters, Dracula's always been very good looking.
Mm-hmm.
And like I get it, you want an actor, like you have to have some sort of appealing factor, but you have this like pretty like handsome guy, and he's just like not acting like a pretty handsome villain would be.
Right.
You know, Dracula 2000, Gerard Butler as Dracula. That was awful. Van Helsing, that actor that played, like tried to pretty much pull off a Bela Lugosi, but he came off like a porn parody, like performance. And then like I'd rather like Benicio del Toro was a great choice. It's just that movie just unfortunately sucked really bad. As like Lawrence Talbot, the Wolfman. So like you just got to pick the right actors. Like there's just so much, and I'm sure people thought this with the cinematic universe that Marvel did like back in 2008, like when Sam Jackson walked out and talked about the Avengers Initiative. I guarantee you, people were saying like this. There's so many different ways this can go wrong, and it went completely right. Not saying there wasn't duds here and there, but like come on, like Marvel perfected it, and honestly, just don't. You should copy their business, but you don't have to copy their art. You know, and that's what DC tried to do. There's nothing wrong with copying a business. You should copy businesses that are successful. Like absolutely, there's no shame in that.
Yeah.
But like, don't copy their art style, like Avengers Team Up, or like we're gonna make them not get along. Like that's our master plan. Like that's so dumb. You know, and like the Batman vs Superman. Like we're not gonna go on a rant this week. But Batman vs Superman, like shamefully did that with Batman fighting Superman, not getting along, but then they have to team up. Different reasonings, but essentially that Marvel already did that with the Avengers.
Right.
You know, when Hulk was fighting Thor. So I just want some originality. For characters that are so original and so classic, I'm just scared of the lack of originality that can happen.
Sorry, I sneezed twice.
It's all right.
I wasn't apologizing to you.
Well, you should have. Sneezing in my house.
Dude, I don't care. All right? Yeah, I think, like you said before, I don't think that they should make the monsters on a team together in an Avenger style. I don't think it makes that much sense. And I think that's probably one of the worst ideas that have come out of this. Not that it's necessarily terrible, but I don't think it's the best one.
It's probably not set in stone either. Like they probably like had to say like you also have to see like they announced this is something new or something they've been trying to do, and it's like they might have just needed to say something. Like, oh, like what are you planning to do? Like the Avengers. Like someone could have just said it and be like, oh crap, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
You know, that happens all the time.
Yeah, it could change for sure.
You know, it's like people say things that they're not supposed to. Like Mads Mikkelsen said something about.
He revealed a secret about his character in Rogue One.
Yeah, and then he like was like, oh, and like, he kind of was like, I don't think I should have said that. You know.
He's lucky Disney didn't snipe him right there.
Yeah, like oh yeah, those actors are like sworn to secrecy.
Yeah, they have crazy strict NDAs.
Yep, like they can get sued if they say too much.
Yeah,
yeah.
It goes for a lot of movies, but yeah, like Disney in particular is very, very strict about it. They pretty much give you a list of details you can say, and then ones that they're like, do not fucking say these, or like this information or whatever. And like on Force Awakens, each cast only got their scenes. Like they didn't get the full script unless they were in those scenes, and then at the end of the day they had to get their scripts collected.
Yeah.
and stuff. And I'm sure some of the same stuff probably happened on Rogue One, but or any like the Avengers or any sort of Marvel movie too. It's
Oscar Isaac probably didn't like. And all right, major Star Wars spoiler. So fast forward like 30 seconds. All right, I'm starting it right now. I'm going to say the spoiler. I don't think Oscar Isaac knew Han Solo probably died in the movie.
Yeah.
Until he saw the movie.
Probably.
It was probably the actor that plays Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver.
John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, and obviously Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca, and Harrison Ford, obviously. So like they're probably the only actors that knew, and obviously J.J. Abrams and like the set and everything like that. But the other actors, like probably didn't know Han Solo died. Maybe Leia did because of the scene where she you had to be an idiot to be like, why am I filming a scene of me being like feeling such great sorrow?
Right.
Probably because Han Solo's dead.
Yeah. Well, she did when she first got the script. She first got the script, she blabbed about it to Graham Norton, who's this British talk show host. Told him literally everything in the movie, like a year or so before it came out.
That sucks.
Luckily, he didn't say anything, but yeah, it's just it's they got to be really strict about that stuff now.
But yeah, and good though. Like, why do people like love to hear spoilers? I
don't know.
Like, I don't get it. I don't get like why like trolls are like on the internet or like I'll never forget kid Matt Vlasic I know, like really nice kid, huge Star Wars fan, posted something on Instagram and I was like, oh yeah, it's great, like great movie, and like and all right, again, spoiler again for a movie that came out in December, but if you honestly didn't see Star Wars yet, that's your fault.
Yeah, you're an asshole.
So the kid like Matt Vlasic on Instagram put up a photo and said, and it was to the right of it was Harrison Ford, and then like I said something like, "Oh, dude, it was a great movie. How'd you like it?" And some kid commented, "Guy on the right dies." Good thing I saw the movie already, but Matt deleted the comment, deleted him, and he direct messaged me and he was like, "Hey man, like he didn't spoil anything for you, did he?" Like I was like, "No, I already saw it twice. Like don't worry about it." I was like, I don't get why you have to be like that.
I don't know, but yeah, when it was coming out, there was even before, like right before it released in the U.S., literally anywhere you went on the internet, in some sort of comment or anything, anywhere, people were intentionally spoiling it. And the same thing happened with Civil War too, but like Star Wars was the biggest because of that huge death.
Yeah, and also Star Wars is Star Wars. Like,
yeah,
even though I'm a bigger Marvel fan than a Star Wars fan, I understand like the degree that Star Wars reaches out to people. It's way more than anything else on this, than like me. I shouldn't say anything else on this planet, like, because that's obviously wrong. There's greater influences beyond entertainment, but for entertainment wise and the content wise, like Star Wars reaches out to a lot of people.
Yeah,
more than anything, like as far as like when it comes to movies and like in comics and video games and stuff. So, and that's one thing I'm kind of okay with now, that like with the if this monster universe ever really does take off, is that we don't have to worry about people spoiling it because people are not going to take it that seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want it to be taken seriously. I want it to be successful, just like anything. Like I would like the Hasbro universe. I would want that to be good and successful. Like why not? That's more good movies that we can enjoy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like if they do turn around, I'm sure Michael Bay would be like the head, like the Kevin Feige of that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Would Ninja Turtles be a part of that? Because that's technically produced by Michael Bay.
I don't think so. No, because I don't think there's any connection really, other than Michael Bay.
And Ninja Turtles, I think, is now a Nickelodeon property.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where it lines up, because it's difficult. Because
does Hasbro make Ninja Turtle toys?
I don't know. I think they might get licensed for them, but I don't think they own the like full production rights for them or anything.
Yeah, that I'm sure of. But like that'd be That'd be cool. Like Ninja Turtles, Transformers, and G.I. Joe in one movie. It would probably be the worst movie ever, but like,
It would definitely be the worst movie ever.
yeah, but there's no expectation for that movie.
Right.
So like, there's no way it can be worse than a movie that you have high expectations for.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd have to be really bad. Like your favorite movie, The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
It's all right. It's better than your favorite movies, Contracted and Master of Disguise, and Your Friend Batman vs Superman.
No, all those movies are bad. I don't like any of those. You watch The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
I've never actually seen that.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, and also too, I would rather. I know, like this might be blasphemous to say, but the movies that they're gonna make, as far as when it comes to the remake of Dracula, Wolfman, Mummy, Frankenstein, I don't want them to do like some new millennial twist, like he's like a good guy, you know?
Yeah.
Like Dracula Untold, clearly he was a good guy. Like you just can see it, and he might have turned into a bad guy at the end. I don't know. But like all the previews for that, or like the coming attractions and the trailers showed him as like a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know? No. Like honestly, like remake the movie. Like remake it, but like have it tie in together with other movies. You know, like what Marvel did.
Right.
As far as like it doesn't have, this has nothing to do, like Captain America: Winter Soldier has nothing to do with Thor: The Dark World, but they're tied in together through this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's fine. That's obviously like what you need for a cinematic universe, but like, don't put some dumb twist on it. Don't make it completely different from the original, from the source that you're getting it from, but call it something that the same name. You know, don't make a Frankenstein movie, but Dr. Frankenstein is like some like political anarchist, like that's like making the monster
Like
to
how
like go against the system. Like no, he's a fucking doctor that makes, you know, and the monster's not called Frankenstein. The monster's just the monster. It's Frankenstein's monster. It's just some mad scientist that thinks he can make people. There we go. Mm-hmm. You know, just like Victor Frankenstein, that movie with Daniel Radcliffe and
James McAvoy.
And James McAvoy. Like that movie was awful. First off, because Frankenstein was barely in, like the Frankenstein monster was barely in it, like maybe for 15 minutes, and then the whole movie was about the dynamic between Igor and Victor Frankenstein. And like, okay, interesting, but it lost complete focus of why we're going to see this movie for the Frankenstein monster.
Yeah.
So like that's like just the original movies did it perfect. The focus was the monster, and then not that the human characters were put to the wayside, but you're also getting a story of value with it. And like that's exactly what Marvel did perfect. They give you what you want. I want to see superheroes fight each other, or I want to see superheroes fight supervillains. Cool. But guess what? We're going to give you a really good story along with that. Mm-hmm. That's what you need to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's like that doesn't make a movie worse than a movie that's just trying to tell a really good story like Spotlight. Yeah. You know? Look at Mad Max Fury Road, which was probably the best movie last year. That was such a simple story and mainly on characters and giving you what you want. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. That's all, like there's nothing wrong with that. And like Marvel did a great mix of both those elements, and I think that's what this new cinematic universe for the Universal Monsters needs to tackle more than anything. Uh-huh. You know, have more than one Wolfman, but then also don't forget that Lawrence Talbot is the original, is the Wolfman that you need to focus on first and flesh his character out. But you can add a new twist to it as long as it doesn't disrespect or take away from what made that character. You know, like listen, I don't care if you make him a black guy from the hood, but you need to also focus on that he's a lonely guy that wants to be away from people and wants to die but can't. Mm-hmm. And those are the things you need to focus on, and like that is the Wolfman. Fine. Yeah, like I just don't want this to suck so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure I've talked too much on this. Like I've gone way too in depth with this.
That's all right. That's what the listeners want.
Yeah, it is what the listeners want. You want me to shut up right now? No. Like I don't know. I just want other monsters in there. I want some creativity. I want some originality in a world where creativity and originality are not really the case. In a world, you know, like, and again, like the new Ghostbusters trailer, perfect example. I think that movie looks like garbage. No, not because it's all women, you know, like I don't care about that. Like that doesn't bother me. It's the fact that you're really like kind of bastardizing the characters that we really liked by like making it like, oh my god, now look at what they're doing, and they're gonna fight ghosts now. Yeah. Like it's so like as silly as Ghostbusters was, you took the character seriously because of how well they worked off each other. And granted, we haven't seen this movie yet, but like I want the Ghostbusters movie to be good. I want them to blow my mind. I would be like, hey, like everything you thought you were wrong. Perfect. I want to be wrong. I want to like that movie. But like it's just like, oh, like remember Ernie Hudson? How he was kind of like pit mad a lot? Well, what's her name? That played the black
Leslie
girl
Jones?
from SNL? Leslie Jones?
Yeah.
Like, well, we got Leslie Jones now, and she's even angrier. And guess what? Like, she's a girl. Like, that's like saying this is a sex thing. Like, stop. Like, you're not doing it justice at all. And that's something that could easily go wrong with this.
You're right. Even if there was no previous Ghostbusters and this was the first one, those two trailers are horrible.
They were horrible.
They put the movie in a bad light.
Yeah, and it's
just not funny, and it's like a forced stereotype and forced like repetitive shtick from Leslie Jones and Melissa McCarthy.
Right, and I like the cast of that movie, but it's just,
I don't like Leslie Jones.
I think
don't
she's
find
alright.
her funny at all.
I think on SNL she's funny, but yeah. And here's another thing: like it's hard. It's gonna be so hard to take these monsters seriously because like let's look. Not even the Universal monster movies that have come out recently that sucked, or this Ghostbusters trailer that is awful. Like let's look at other movies that just try to tackle monsters in general and just failed. Like look at the Scooby-Doo live action adaptations. Those are some of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like the second one's a little better, but it not by much. If you want to give like Scooby-Doo movie like a 2, the second one's like a 2.5.
Poor James Gunn.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did write the second one. That's probably why it's a little better.
Yeah, probably.
That movie is about monsters, like solving mysteries and like seeing if the monster is real or not. And even the second movie, it's called Monsters Unleashed. Like it's supposed to be like the monsters are real this time. That movie sucked. Like people look at monsters and they're like, oh, like that's dumb. And, I just don't want that anymore. I want to be taken seriously. Like it worked for Godzilla. People are taking Godzilla seriously again. And that new Japanese trailer that they dropped a few months ago, which the movie's supposed to be coming out next month in Japan, that Godzilla looks awesome. I think I showed you that trailer, right?
Yeah, it was
that
cool.
trailer looks amazing. It's a full rubber suit again, but he looks all like messed up. We don't know why.
I know that it won't be held in as high regard as you hold in the 1998 Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie.
You can't even tell people that I like that movie though. Like you know, like I let Master Disguise and Contracted and Batman vs Superman slide because like all right, it's a joke. People know you're joking. Don't ever tell somebody I like that movie. Ever. Don't ever tell anybody that I like that Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie. There's nothing redeemable about that movie.
No, there really isn't.
There's not one character that's likable. They got the French guy from that Hitman movie he's in. That's awesome. The Professional.
Yeah. Shit, what's his name? Yeah, whatever his name is.
Yeah, they got that guy. Sucks in the movie. The guy that does voices for The Simpsons. And he was also in that movie The Birdcage with Robin Williams, which is an awesome movie. He sucks in that. Some blonde girl, never heard of her, sucks. Matthew Broderick, who's a great actor, sucks in that movie. That's the thing that sucks too, is that Matthew Broderick really is a great actor. He just has a lot of bad movies.
Yeah, he does.
What's that one Christmas movie he's in with Danny DeVito?
Deck the Halls.
Deck the Halls. That movie is terrible. But yeah, Matthew Broderick, like useless in that movie. Some of the worst jokes ever. And my favorite thing ever said about that movie was by Gene Siskel, because in that movie they make fun of Siskel and Ebert because it's Roland Emmerich who made a lot of like commercially successful movies like Independence Day, and like 2012 and all that garbage. but like Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel always like ripped on his movies. So he made Mayor Ebert and then like his assistant like Gene, and like it was just Gene like giving the mayor like candy all the time, like to get back at them. And Gene Siskel said like, if you want to parody us in movies, like go ahead, like make fun of us, but like why wouldn't you have the monster eat us? And like, it was the best point ever. It's like he's like, you can't even make fun of us right. And it was amazing. It was by far the best thing ever. R.I.P. to both of them, but. Yeah, like that. Don't ever tell anybody like that movie. Like that's really crossing the line. The 1998 Godzilla movie.
Okay. Only if you piss me off, I'll say it. But I'll save that for a special day.
All right, like my wedding.
Oh, that's gonna be, I'm gonna get up in front of your bride and say, "Listen, you know what he likes."
And then the whole family just turns against me.
Yeah, you'll get annulled immediately.
That sucks. But yeah, Universal Monsters, I want it to be successful. Hopefully it is. The characters are classic. I would love to see them be revamped and re-respected. And, there's a lot of movie history behind those. We can get into that to a different day. Not right now, but like a few episodes down the line, if we can get into a history. You should really start watching some of those movies. A lot of them you would like.
Okay.
I have the DVDs. I can just let you borrow some of them. Or all of them, I don't care. But yeah, if you guys haven't checked it out at all either, you can find a lot of these movies really cheap on Amazon or BestBuy.com.
Gotta promote Best Buy.
Yeah,
huh?
promote Best Buy. I actually have my uniform on right now because I have work in like an hour. But yeah, I'm telling you, you can find them real cheap, and like, if you can find the certain movies, you really should get the Blu-ray copy of because they just look that much better. Like the big three, the Wolfman, Dracula, and Frankenstein. Like Blu-ray, get those movies on Blu-ray. Totally worth it. Like the spin-offs and like some of the other ones that like they haven't really like kept up on, you can get on DVD. The only other one I highly suggest because it looks the best cinematically because it's really the last major movie monster is the creature from the Black Lagoon. Mm-hmm. That's when like black and white was getting weaned out for color at the time. That movie's in black and white. But it just visually looks really good because it's like probably the best black and white was at the time. So on Blu-ray, it looks awesome. Yeah. It looks really, really good. And I don't own the Blu-ray copy. I saw it in high def on Comcast On Demand, so it's like kind of like the same thing. But it's not going to be the same quality if you were to probably get it on Blu-ray on a physical disc. Mm-hmm. So I should probably pick that up soon. But yeah, just try to truck through them. And a lot of the movies are short too. Some of the movies are like an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, not long at all. Not too bad. So you can probably watch like three. For 3 movies is like one Lord of the Rings movie.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else got to add?
No, that's pretty much it. I guess future episode we can talk about the history of like some movie monsters. That's something I would love to do. Maybe around Halloween time.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we got time before this universe kicks off anyway.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, it's probably going to be like next year till we even see like production of it.
Yeah, probably. Well, I think the Mummy movie's going into production soon.
Oh, that's even better.
But yeah, well, it'll be a while before we get anything else on it, really.
Hopefully, there's like an email leak.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, download on iTunes or Podbean, rate us on iTunes, share with all your friends. You can follow the show on Twitter at Awesome Sun Show.
Yeah, and you can also follow our individual Twitters too. I'm at Less Than Connor.
I'm at Rick Pat Mick.
And for like future updates and future episodes, follow us obviously at the Twitter handles we gave that we gave. Also follow Couch Review at the Couch Review. And if you are subscribed to the Couch Review and not Awesome Sunday Show, just check our just check the featured channels list on Couch Review, and also subscribe to Awesome Sunday Show because that's where all the deep talk really comes in.
Yeah.
Couch Review is the spoiler free. Hey, this is what I thought. The Awesome Sunday Show is when we really get down and dirty.
Oh, we get dirty.
We get dirty. Super dirty. All right. Guys, thanks for listening and have a great Sunday.
All right. See you later.